Hello, welcome to Traffic Time with Jaime. I will be talking to you guys about different topics in different episodes. Today we'll talk about one specific one. Right now, this will be my first one, so it'll just come out of my own head. In the future, I hope to get ideas and topics that viewers and subscribers want to see or hear about. By no means am I an expert in any of the topics, categories that I discuss. These are my personal views. These are my experiences. These are things that I have gone through or talked to people about. And again, this is just a conversation from me to you guys. I'm stuck in traffic. And one could only listen to so much music when you're stuck in traffic. When you have somebody to drive with, you can bounce ideas off of each other. You can talk about topics. You might see something that sparks a conversation. But when you're by yourself, and for those of you that travel, you'll probably understand, you could only hear and see so much quiet. After so long, the traffic noise dulls out and it can get you real sleepy. So we're going to go ahead and get into our first topic, something I talked about today with one of my coworkers, the military. I know it's a sensitive subject. I know some people like it, some people hate it, some people have no comments on it, whether they've been touched by it, unfazed by it, or just have no idea what it really entails. I'm going to cover a little bit about it. So one of the topics usually is, how was it? So it's a big, loaded question. Most people that served for 4 to 8 years. I know people have friends that are already pushed their 20 years, or pushing 20 years, and they're still in it. So obviously, it's not just in shows and movies. People do retire out of the military. I myself only did an 8-year contract, and I know I say only, and to some people that's a long part of your life, which it is. But again, because I'm still here, still alive, still all my body parts, I was blessed to make it in and out of those 8 years. Physically unharmed, right? So to those that are in a younger generation or still in your 20s that are thinking about the military and you don't know anybody and all you really have is social media to go off of, I want to give you some pros and cons to joining. I want to give you my perks and benefits that I've encountered, and some of the hard experiences that I've had being in the military. And again, this could be totally flipped for somebody. This could be the exact same thing for somebody. So I want to get this channel going just to let people know that there are other people around the world that experience similar situations and life choices, and even though you might be going through them by yourself, you are not by yourself when it comes to these decisions. So again, going back to the question, what is it like? Would I do it? Would I suggest or advise somebody to do it? I can't consciously advise somebody to or not to join the military. There are branches out there that offer different benefits, different perks. In general, the military itself can provide some financial gateways and their perks outside of just dollar amounts that come with being in the military. Starting with just discounts at random events. You have discounts at stores. We can't go anywhere without my wife saying, "Hey, did you ask for your military discount?" She is a huge supporter, um, big on military. She wished she could have joined it herself, but she also knows what kind of price we paid to go through that. So she wants to make sure we seek all the benefits that we can. Going back to other things aside from monetary value, so when we purchased the home, there was one big thing we didn't have to have that majority of people out there right now are trying to save up for, or they feel like they'll never be able to achieve, which is a down payment. With a VA loan, we didn't have to put down a penny down for that loan. Now, there's a difference between opening an escrow and putting money down on a home. I'm not a financial expert and I don't know everything about housing and how that works, so I apologize if I can't get too in depth with that. But I do know that the bank does require a certain amount to be deposited into an account to process for paperwork and whatnot. So that amount for us was a small $1,500 check. $1,500 and some inspections, where we were able to purchase a home, which we are still living in. We are secured up to a certain amount, so the banks love that, which means that we go through bankruptcy or default on a loan for whatever reason, we can't pay our loan back. That institution is guaranteed up to a certain amount. And right now, we barely passed that amount, I believe. So if something were to happen to where we couldn't pay that house, or we just dropped the house and left, the bank is going to get about 90-95% of their money owed. And because the house is not that old as far as the loan time frame goes, they're going to recuperate everything that they put down, especially with the market, how it's going, how it's been. They'll get everything back. They'll make some money off of our sales. So luckily, that's not the case right now. But again, that's a major perk for those individuals or those families that are looking to try to get a home, especially with the prices the way everything is, interest rates the way they are. Not having to put any money down can save that money that you might have stored in the 401 or some other savings to put down for some home repairs. Or maybe you have a child on the way. Maybe you need a vehicle and you're trying to do both home and home and a vehicle. That is one big benefit to join the military. The other one, going back to a monetary value, there are positions or jobs, they're called MOSs in the military, that do pay you a bonus for enlisting. Typically, those are careers that the military needs now or see needing in the near future. So in order to entice individuals to take those roles, they'll pay out bonuses. I don't know how low they go. The lowest bonus I've heard was $2,000, but again, that was close to 20 years ago. When I enlisted, I received an $8,000 bonus. Now again, that goes the other way. 20 years ago, $8,000 was a lot. There were some $15,000 bonus jobs, but those were either more difficult, further away, or real technical. So you need specific scores on tests to take those roles, which I did receive a high score when I took my ASVAB and all my tests. But again, I was 17. I wasn't really looking to leave too far away, or really far away in general. The idea of training somewhere else didn't bother me. But to live somewhere entirely, not having anybody to depend on, was something new for me. I enlisted into the reserves, so I wasn't going to have a full-time place provided by the military to live in. I was going to have to find my own place. So I decided to stay, my local city. I stayed at home until I actually moved out. But during that time, being told you're going to get $8,000 plus your school benefits was a real plus. You're not always going to get your full bonus up front. Depends how your contract is laid out. You can get that bonus up front, or you can get it split up into 2, 3, or 4 payments, depending on how your contract is set up. Aside from being able to purchase a home and get some money, they do talk about giving you money for school. You can get money direct once you enlist or enroll into school. But typically most of that money goes to the school, directly to school. I did get some checks deposited for housing and books, but the rest would go straight to my school. Now, if you have grants or other loans, and you end up overpaying the school because of the military money, you are typically able to get that money out and withdraw it because you'll get a refund. Again, no financial advice, but that's just another way to be able to afford going to school while you don't have that high-paying job to start. Those are some of the key things to enlisting in the military. Other perks that people don't really talk about, and I don't know how many people out there have experienced this or know anybody that's taking advantage of it. A lot of companies look for hiring military individuals, enlisted or veterans, retired, whatever it be. They like that discipline, they like that demeanor, and they like that perk of filling that box and saying, you know what, we've hired X amount of veterans, or a certain percentage of military members are onboarded through our company. Whatever the reason for that company hiring a military individual, veteran or active, that is one way to get a leg up on somebody else. Another perk is a lot of companies, and not a tremendous amount, but typically a government job, state or federal, will take your years of service and apply it to your seniority in that company. There was one company that I applied for a while back that was willing to take every year I was in the military and give me half a year worth of tenure. So with my 8 years of military, I would have had 4 years of tenure. So if I would have got hired on, I would have already outranked anybody with 4 years or less in that company starting off. So that would have included benefits and pay starting with that company. And again, with the times the way they are, it is a little difficult to make what would seem like a lot of money in current times because of how the market is and how the economy is. All great perks. And some of you might have heard those. Some of you might have friends and family that encourage you because of those perks. Some of the cons to be in the military is being away from friends and family. If you've never been away from friends and family, it will be a shock. I can almost guarantee it. Now, it is a case-by-case scenario, situation, but I witnessed a lot of individuals having a rough time. I myself, as time went on, and found my now wife, had a hard time being away from. Now, at first, I couldn't wait to get away from home. So, those first 2 years of training, going away to different states, enjoying freedom for the first time was amazing. But again, if you have a family, if you're trying to start a family, if you got a family without planning it out, and now you're trying to scramble to figure out how to provide, that is an option. I really believe that you shouldn't do it because you feel desperate. Obviously, most people join because they need something in return. I did it for multiple things, and I've gotten everything that I had enlisted for, or the reason why I enlisted for. I have received those perks. But I did join by being desperate, or for being desperate, however you want to put that. I felt like I had nowhere to turn, didn't know what to do. As much as my parents wanted to encourage me to go to college, they were not able to financially provide for me to join. So how was I going to do so without any knowledge of how to get loans, how to get money, how to pay back for loans? The military came knocking at my door. They paint a pretty picture. I am definitely blessed, thankful to have had a recruiter that wasn't taking advantage of me. Can't talk for now. She didn't paint this fake image of the military. She gave me the same thing, all the perks, some of the cons. Not enough to scare me away, but enough to tell me the truth and say, hey, it can be difficult and it can be tough, but it can provide all these perks and all these benefits if you can stick it out. And again, I was looking to do something with that career, to make the most out of it. And that's what I did. It took a span of almost 20 years, but again, some of those perks of being in the military follow you till the end. My current company right now still loves that I served. They host yearly dinners where they thank veterans for their service. So not only are they hiring veterans and service members, but they're thanking them on a yearly basis for the services. But again, that's some of those perks again. Being away, or if you happen to be deployed and end up being away in a dangerous or hostile situation, maybe not even so hostile, but you're just away from somebody you really love. Maybe you've never been away from your home. Maybe you don't have any siblings or family members or a lot of friends. Individuals join the military for that purpose as well, but it can be harmful. It is difficult for some people to adapt to environments and to different types of personalities. One thing they don't talk to you about is you can be with a group of 50 guys, and those 50 guys, or man or female, put together, they can all think and feel a different way. It takes a lot of effort to come together and work through that. Even if you're having to work on a day-to-day basis with each other, people end up not liking each other for whatever reason. So you have to be able to adapt and overcome that to be able to have at least a decent time at whatever location site you're at. There are a lot of mental health issues and possibilities of having issues for being deployed for so long. There are subconscious issues that you can develop or can surface for being away that long and having to endure whatever it is you endure overseas. So just keep that in mind for your decision in trying to enlist in the military. I hope that I gave you some decent advice, at least a little more clarity, or even just some ideas of things that you never thought about that could sway or persuade you into going to the military. The best that I can do is to give you my honest opinion, my experiences, and a quick glimpse of that topic. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be expanding on more topics, more discussions. I'll narrow in on what people want to hear and what they would like to explore, so that it makes it fun for not only you, but for me during this traffic drive. Hope you guys have a great afternoon. Have a good, safe weekend. Thank you.